Hello and welcome to the CIS208 Web Development Online course. It's a web development course taught online. Now, this is basically your Blackboard survey I'm about to take you through, but the textbook, which we'll get into in a minute, maps out really well with Expressions Web 4, which is a free download for you. And I'll show you a link to get that. It is a cheaper book than most textbooks because it's really not a textbook. It's one of these teach yourself something in so many hours. All right, instead of chapters, they use hour one for chapter one, hour two, and it's really not a bad book considering the other things that I looked at were not that good and they were a whole lot more expensive. So we're going to go with this. Web Expressions 4 is a web authoring tool. Now what that means is it generates hypertext markup, cascading style sheets, buttons, forms. It's a drag and drop, sort of a management type affair. Now we teach a CIS207, which is much more difficult than the 208. The numbers really don't match, don't mean anything. This is an easier course because Expressions Web does most of the work for you. If you've had 207, then you can go into the code view behind what it's generating and tweak it if you need to, but that's not required. Most of the time you can view it in different browsers and see what the end result is going to be. So it's a nice tool. I mean, for generating static websites, it's a very, very nice tool. I think you'll enjoy it. Plus it's free, so you don't have to pay for it. Okay, so here's the getting started page in Blackboard. I don't have my schedule yet because I just found out what I was teaching yesterday, and this is a Saturday, so I'll try to get it up by Monday. You're watching the welcome video that I'm creating right now, and you'll get an announcement, what's called a Monday memo, every Monday around 8 o'clock, which will sort of remind you what's in the printable course schedule and what you're supposed to do for this week. And of course, there will be other announcements and things that I might send out, so you need to be checking Blackboard all the time, okay? So we've got course grading overview. Basically, that's in the syllabus, and I'm not going to read the whole syllabus to you. I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can, just give you the pertinent information to get you started. All right, here's your printable course calendar. Eventually, there it goes. So all work is due on the Sunday ending the week that these assignments are made. So this is the week ending. That is next Sunday, okay, or the Sunday of the first, ending the Sunday of the first week, second week, third week. So you get a whole week to do everything listed here. Now, you're going to work on hour one, which means you're going to have to, of course, watch the welcome video, and that's how you know to do it because this would have popped up sort of as an announcement. Download the required data files for the semester. I'll show you basically how I do that. Make sure you're able to download and install the free version of Microsoft Expressions Web from the link posted in the required software in your Blackboard home to your home computer, and get the textbook. You got to have the textbook. If you don't have a textbook, you can't even do the first week's work. All right. Since this is an online course, Wallace has an online attendance policy. My requirements for you being in compliance with the online attendance policy is to do everything that I've got listed in this first week. Okay. That includes working through hour one. Now in your textbook, that's chapter one, hour one, basically. You download Expressions Web, and all it does is just walk you through. Here's a menu. Here's how you do this. This is what this is. This is a flyout menu. This is how you add folders and so forth. It's just general stuff. There's really not a lot to do except walk through it and make sure you understand what it is they're telling you. It's just basically how to use an introduction on how to open up Expressions Web and get rolling with it. You really don't do a lot of production work until you get into hour two or chapter two. All right, now in this course there's going to be quite a lot of discussion posting work. So every week you're going to have to complete some postings on the discussion board. All right, so the first week, as you can see here, it says research the origins of hypertext markup language HTML online. Post your findings in the discussion board. Additionally, comment on 2 other posts by fellow students, and it says see discussion section for full description. There's a little bit more to it than that, as far as how complete your replies are and all that. Notice this. It says completing all the above assignments puts you in compliance with the WCC online attendance policy. Failure to complete the above will cause a student to be dropped from the course. Okay, so it's up to you. I mean, you have to do this the first week if you want to stay in the class. In the second week, we're doing hour 2 and hour 3. And what you basically, the way this works is you'll download your data files, which I've got posted in Blackboard, so you don't even have to go to the publisher site and unzip them. And then hour 2, you're going to actually start, I think it's called, what's it called? Some sort of final is the name of it. I forget the name of it, but anyway, I will look at it in a minute. But so you're going to create this site and import some data into it. So you're going to be starting this. I think it's MyKippel Final is what it's called. Dot whatever the extension is. And so you'll import via Chapter 2 or Hour 2 data. Set up the site. You might put some pictures in, whatever they ask you to do. They'll provide all that for you. And this is a cumulative effort. So after you complete Hour 2, you'll zip that up and then put it in a submission in Blackboard for me to grade, and I'll show you where that is. But you have to zip up the outermost folder, because if you don't, when I get in there and start looking at it, things are going to be broken and you're not going to get credit for a lot of the stuff. So you'll need to, if you don't understand how to zip up a file, you'll need to get into that. But it's not a big deal. And then we have a midterm and a final, and we're going through 12 hours of this. This is a short semester. I think it's like 9 or 10 weeks, so we're really having to push it. I couldn't go any further than that, I didn't think. Okay, so the midterm is on June 24th in CTC 101 and 102 from 12:30 to 5:30. Sparks, I got to get a tutor up there, so I'll have to announce that later. Now, you have to show up, and at that point, you have to have your midterm exam project ready to show to me. So I'm going to sit down with you with the requirements, and we're going to go through everything that you were supposed to do. Now, notice up here it says, week ending 6/9, it says begin work on the midterm project, see Blackboard. Well, I have all the basic requirements listed there. It's not difficult, but I'll go through the checklist, and if you've got everything, you'll get credit for it. If not, I'll ding points off. So it's going to be a face-to-face thing, more like a presentation, not anything really serious. So, but, it's just the way it works. And you'll do the same thing for the final exam. Now, the final exam is more comprehensive because you've gone through more stuff. You'll have a CSS sheet and some things like that. So you're going to be given quite a lot of latitude as to how and what you want to do. But I have basic requirements that you have to meet. After that, you can do pretty much what you want. So it's fun. Okay, so this is the printable course schedule. We can go back to Blackboard now, and the syllabus. Let's look at that just briefly. Okay, so intermediate web development. I think they've changed the name of this at the state level. And I'm really not sure what it is, but it's still CIS208. That's all we need to worry about. Here is my contact information. Since this is an online course, you should be communicating with me through Blackboard course mail exclusively. You can call and leave messages, but I'm always in Blackboard. I'm going to see it a lot quicker that way. So it's up to you. I mean, I have, my room and everything on here. There's my phone number. This is my division director. Should you and I have any issues that we can't resolve, whatever it is, not problems, but maybe a substitution for some course or when you want to graduate, that kind of stuff, we may have to go see him and push it up the chain of command. That doesn't happen really, but it's there anyway. Should you need to talk to him. This is all gobbledygook. Let's get down to the good stuff. Here is your points. This is how the course is going to be graded. The midterm and the final exam projects, 30 points each, 30% each, 60% total. All of our proctored exams and online courses at Wallace have to be 60% of the total grade. So that's why those are so, and so you can see that you'll need to work on them pretty heavily. And you'll have plenty of time, I think. Assignments, that's like hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, and so forth. And that's 30%. So that's most of the grunt work through the book, basically, is all you got to do. It's not difficult. Discussion board postings, 10% of your grade. Those are required. So you'll need to do that every week. Set aside some time for it. Okay. Textbook, here it is. Here's the ISBN. It's Sam's Teach Yourself Microsoft Expressions Web in 24 hours. If you wanted to buy this used, I'm sure you could get a really good deal. But even new, it's not very much. Now, they mark it up at the bookstore, so if you're on Pell Grant, you may not have any choice. But even then, it's cheaper than most books. So this is for traditional class, so you can kind of ignore that and just work on your hard drive of your computer or whatever. And most of this stuff is, you can look at it, and there's a link to the college catalog. I'm not going to spend much time on that because you can read. All right, so that's getting started. Let's get to the meat of this course. All right, here's your midterm comprehensive exam project and your final exam comprehensive exam project. Now what that means, it's comprehensive from the point that you turn it in all the way back to the beginning. And then this is all, you're going to be using just about everything you've learned in the course. And you can look at this later. It's not complicated. But here's your data files. Now I've already downloaded mine, but if you click on this and you're in Google Chrome, it's going to show up down here basically, and you can just copy and paste it, show it in the folder once it's finished. It's pretty big. You can show it in the folder and then move it into whatever directory you want. So that's all that is, just a dead download link. So it's a zip file. See it sitting there? Okay, so let's pretend for discussion purposes that I have already downloaded mine, and I have. Here it is. It's in my 208 directory. You can create a directory of whatever you want. This is my working directory. Yours can be different. It says CIS208 data files.zip. If you don't see the .zip, come over here to View and click File Name Extensions. Check that. You're going to need to see these file name extensions, all right, because there are different kinds that show up different ways. You can't always rely on the little icon. Depends on how it was installed, if it was installed at all. So how do you unzip a file like this? Right click on it, go to or select Extract All. You can take the default. Now this is going to probably take a little while because, well, this one's going pretty quick. How about that? Interesting. All right, so let's back up one. Notice that I still have my zip file, but I've got the CIS208 data files directory. Once you've unzipped this, get rid of the zip file, because students have a tendency to go in here and work, and it just doesn't work, okay, because it's a compressed archive file. You can go in there and look around, and some things you can do, but some things you can't save to it and things of that nature. So delete that, and there are your data files, okay? Once you've installed Expressions Web and you get into hour 2, I keep wanting to say chapter, it'll get you to import this MyKippel Final. Notice the little global browser in a window there. That's a proprietary folder that's built every time you create a project. So you're going to basically be working on MyKippel Final through every chapter. So when you finish hour 2, if there's not anything to do at the end of the chapter, sometimes there are, depending on what I've assigned, you'll zip it back up and send it to me and submit it. So let's go ahead and zip up this one as if we had done some work on it. Send to, and we'll call this hour 2. Okay. All right, so there's hour 2. It's zipped. Everything in here is zipped up. It has to be that outermost folder or I won't be able to see it. So let's go to, excuse me, CIS208 assignments. And there's an upload practice project. You can practice uploading zip files in there if you want to. It's not going to let me do anything, I don't think. But there's hour 2, okay, deliverable. So I'm going to click on that. This is after you've worked all the way through this chapter, hour 2, and done anything at the end of the chapter. Don't send me just blank data files. I want to see what you've done. Okay, so you go to, just like any other submission in Blackboard, browse my computer, and I'm in 208. Data files. You can put yours wherever you want. Just make sure you know where everything is. There's my deliverable that I'm going to get graded on if I were a student, after I complete all the assignments in hour 2 of the textbook. All right, so there it is. So it's a 2-part process. You have to attach it and then submit it. Once you've done that, it'll show up in your grade book as it needs to be graded, and I will open it up, unzip it, run through the paces, and make sure you did everything you're supposed to do. All right? Enough of that. So that's how you submit your stuff, except for the projects. You're going to give those to me face to face. Okay, required software. There's the download link. Let's look at that. All right, there it is. Microsoft Expression Web free version. Download it, put it on your computer, and install it. You'll have to do that before you start in hour 1. All right. Now notice that there is no hour one submission because there's nothing to submit. You're just looking through the menus and so forth. So you really don't start submitting anything until you've completed hour two. And it'll make more sense because you're going to keep adding to that My Kipple final project directory. You're going to keep adding functionality, and they'll show you how to do cascading style sheets and all these other neat little things. All right, so there's that. And the writing assignments. There are 3. They're easy to do, about a half a page. Do it in Word, do a spell check on it, and it tells you what to do here. And in order to submit it, you have to submit it through the Blackboard interface, not as a Blackboard email attachment. Don't send it to me any other way. If you read this, it tells you what to do. And by the way, this is a link, okay? That's where you go, browse your computer, upload the document, submit it, and you'll get credit for it pretty much. And so there's that. And I believe that's it. I think that'll get you going pretty much. So don't forget, you got to get the book right off the bat. You got to download Expressions Web 4, the link I just showed you. The first chapter, you just work your way, read through it basically, and open up all the different links that they show you so you'll know where these tools are at. So when you get in the middle of something, you won't be lost. If you do, just go back to this chapter and pretty much tells you what to do. All right? Great. Look forward to seeing you and looking at those projects. If you have a problem you can't solve, email me through course mail in Blackboard and I'll respond. All righty? Enjoy.